What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Straight Facts YouTube channel. As always, the sports show that educates and entertains, presented to you by the Up On Game Podcast Network. You guys just saw us break down the first half of the NBA season with our NBA awards. So we're going to switch gears in a little bit because we're going to have a little fun with this one, bringing back a segment that everybody loves, Speaking Facts, right? So over the past, 2 or 3 weeks, we've seen a lot of quotes fly, right? And we got to just kind of address some of the things that have been said in the sports world. So I'm here with my guy, Jake Galley, as always, to break it down and see what's good. So, Jake, we'll get right into this thing, give the people what they want.
Yep.
Because the first one, the first one addresses something that people have been talking about a lot. JJ Redick went on First Take. And by the way, I got to say, JJ Redick is probably the realest guy on sports media right now. But he goes on First Take regarding the Zion Williamson situation on not contacting CJ McCollum when CJ got traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. JJ says, and I quote, "This just shows a complete lack of investment in your team and your organization and your city. This is a pattern of behavior we are seeing from Zion. I was his teammate and can describe him as a detached teammate." Now, Jake, of course, we have no, firsthand accounts with Zion. We never talked to him, never been his teammate, whatever. But just from the outside looking in, from the media perspective, is JJ Redick speaking facts? Is Zion just too detached?
I think he is too detached, and I don't think it's like, for instance, and we talked about both of the people I'm about to mention in our Straight Facts NBA awards. You should go watch that video if you have not already. But
yeah, do that.
Both of he and Kawhi Leonard, you could probably both describe as detached teammates. Kawhi is that way because he is that way. That it's Kawhi.
Yeah.
I think Zion is doing this with a purpose. I think Zion knows he's not going to be here long term. I don't think Zion, maybe you could say, yeah, he should have sent a text, and maybe that could just be him being young and naive, not knowing, hey, maybe I should send this guy who just got traded a text. But to me, if I'm sitting in Zion's position, I haven't played for this team in about a year. I have a year left on my deal, and they don't really have any sort of title hopes or aspirations. I mean, they obviously make this trade to try and get closer to that, but I would say he is probably a detached teammate because he knows something we don't, that Zion is going to be at X destination in X year.
And so that's why I say JJ Redick is not speaking facts. And I guess he's speaking facts from the standpoint of Zion can be a detached teammate. But this shows a lack of, invested interest or a lack of investment in your team, organization, city. Yeah, this doesn't show it. This isn't what showed me a lack of investment. He's been showing up. Yeah, he's been showing up for the past year. If I'm Zion, if I'm the Pelicans, I have to read the writing on the wall a little bit, right? I can't be upset at someone who hasn't texted CJ McCollum. This is not LeBron. This is not Anthony Davis. CJ McCollum is a 20, per game scorer. He's a good player in this league. But you said it, no title aspirations. And I've been publicly frustrated with the lack of direction of this team. So if I'm not interested, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't fake the game. I'd rather you not send me or CJ McCollum a text if you truly don't want to be here. Don't fake the game. Don't be phony. Don't be fake. Hey, great to have you on our team. What do you mean our team? You're not coming back. Don't say glad to have you here if I never see you at a game.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So to me, it's hey, don't force Zion to do something that he does not want to do, because now you're just asking him to appease the public, and then you go get mad at him when he still wants to request a trade in the offseason. Let him do him, man.
Also, this is coming from JJ Redick. How could you not text a teammate? That's just simple. That's simple. Being a good teammate. Remember. JJ Redick was a teammate once. I have a feeling this is somewhat coming from JJ Redick's experience, not necessarily CJ McCollum saying oh man, that really upset me that Zion didn't contact me. Yeah. CJ McCollum, I didn't see the context of the quote, but CJ McCollum might not care. JJ Redick is clearly a little in his bag in this one, emotional.
I agree. And if you watch the clip of when Kenny Smith asked CJ McCollum this question at All-Star Weekend, it didn't seem like he didn't care, but it seemed like it was yeah, he hasn't contacted me yet. Not that I don't care. I kind of wish that he did, but it's no, he didn't. I didn't expect anything less. Also, CJ McCollum's never been traded, so I know people have been traded to his team, but he's the biggest trade, destination acquisition he's seen. His trade was Yusuf Nurkic.
Right.
Like CJ McCollum's bigger than that. So he may not even know that, like, oh, Zion was supposed to text me when I got there.
Right.
Like, I didn't even know that. Like, okay, well, now that you say that, Katie the Jet Smith, he hasn't contacted me. I hope that he can so I can sit down with him. But this is to me is like, hey man, y'all see what Zion is at this point. Don't force me to do anything else because he a young 20-year-old who not gonna be there next year. Focus on something else.
Yep.
The next quote we'll get into was this the you talk about drama. The storyline that is Aaron Rodgers' future in this offseason. It all has to do on the Pat McAfee show. So shout out Pat McAfee because he is the per sources of Aaron Rodgers. So AJ Hawk is on Pat McAfee's show regarding Aaron Rodgers' future, ex-teammate of his, and says, I stand by what I've said the whole time. Aaron Rodgers is going back to Green Bay. Now, Jake, do you want to tell him or should I?
You go ahead. You go.
You want me to tell him?
Yeah.
AJ, wake up, smell the roses, buddy. He gone.
You don't get out much on AJ.
That boy gone. Okay. I don't know like what I don't know who has a thanking of teammates before it's over. Like, has Aaron Rodgers ever thanked the Green Bay organization before for anything a day in his life?
He was winning Super Bowls like,
and I still hate these people.
Yeah.
And I still hate these people. So, like, why would he all of a sudden now, coincidentally, just thank all the teammates and coaches that has been a part of his organization and his journey up until now? You're just going, he's just a nice guy like that, huh?
Well,
no, that's an exit.
What he said is that he was doing some, I don't even know, this is bad podcasting here. I don't know the name of it. It's some form of body cleansing that he said he was doing.
Detoxing?
It was like an intense detox. Okay. And he said it's like a week-long thing. And he's like, when I came out of it, all I felt was gratitude. Now, that doesn't mean he's not retiring or leaving or whatever he's going to do. That doesn't mean that he's going to be in Green Bay next year. That was his excuse for it. I do find it interesting that Green Bay is coincidentally clearing a lot of cap space to make a run at bringing back both him and Devontae. And
11 million. That's not a lot.
I think they're up to 14 now. I mean, now you're getting close to Devontae.
14.
Well, you don't remember. Aaron Rodgers is still under contract for the next 2 years. So really, you only have to make room for Devontae.
But he has
if that's what Aaron wants.
Rodgers wants. Yeah, he has the clause. The restructuring last year was if I want to leave, I can, which is, by the way, the most unique contract I've ever. Like, it's literally, if I say I want to leave, I can leave, or I have the ability. Yeah, I have the ability.
He's earned an opt-out.
But to have that in paper, that as soon as I speak, this contract is null and void, is pretty crazy. But Jake, have you ever heard of the term graduation goggles?
No.
Graduation goggles is what a lot of high school or college seniors get when it's graduation time. You hear every high school, I can't wait to leave. I can't wait to go to college. So many kids in our high school said it. And then the last month comes and you're actually about to graduate. And all of a sudden, the food isn't that bad. You like the teachers. Gym class is fun. That math teacher that you hated, all of a sudden you're cracking jokes with them. People you've never hung out with before, you're seeing at parties. And you start to think, wow, I'm really kind of going to miss this place. I've spent the last X number of years here with these same people. And now that I'm actually about to leave, now I got a little bit of a gratitude for this place. That's all that was. He's still leaving. He's still going to college. He's still throwing the cap in the air. But I had just a little bit of a self-reflective moment and realized I've won, 4 MVPs and a title? It could have been worse. I have some gratitude. I don't want to hit you guys when I leave, but I am leaving. And I am going.
I think we'll talk about this in future episodes, so we don't have to spend too much time on it. But if you had to guess what jersey Aaron Rodgers is wearing when the snaps start coming in next year, what jersey is that? Where do you think he's going to end up?
The pewter and black.
Oh no.
I
shouldn't have asked.
That's what I think. It makes a whole lot of sense. Tell me it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I mean,
trust me. We will get into it in future episodes, man. Because I'm starting to talk myself into this now. Especially if we don't got to trade for him. I'm starting to talk myself into it now.
There's a lot of good options out there for him. Definitely, I can't write it off. I
mean, we pulled one aging superstar last year out of thin air. could do it again. All
Exactly.
right, we'll move on. Booger McFarland's letting things fly again, as he always does. He says he's terribly concerned for Trey Lance. Quote, from an injury standpoint, he didn't prove he can stay healthy. From a quarterbacking standpoint, I didn't see enough. Jake, Booger speaking facts?
No. How can you, like...
Absolutely not. Thank you. Absolutely not.
How on earth can you draw, like, he is on one of, I would say, if I had to pick one, like, I'm like a quarterback coach and my quarterback is going into the NFL. Hey, what type of offense do you want him to play in? How about, or what type of team you want him to play on? How about a team that has great run game, great coaching, great defense? What are we talking about? Like, no, he's going to be completely fine. He's in his first year. He wasn't the full-time starter. Like, in the NFL, like, people forget back in the day when you had, you know, Montana or Rodgers or like all these quarterbacks that came in and sat for years. They finally start playing 3 years in after they've learned the game, after they've lived the game. Like, I'm really tired, and I hear it, and I think it's maybe a soft point for me because I hear it a lot with Jalen Hurts. Like, after his first full year of starting, like, yep, he's never going to be any good. Like, how can you make that assessment when these guys are still getting better and changing day to day? I don't know.
Yeah, but Booger's better than this, to be honest. He's way better than this. First of all, who's worried about health when he wasn't the starter?
Right.
Like, if he's not the starter, let him work out the nicks. Let him work out the little thumb injuries and ankle injuries. Let him do that. He's not the starter. You're not dependent on his health. And then he's talking about he didn't see enough from him to be a good quarterback. And I get it. We're on like a 3-game sample size of him starting. So it's not a big sample size. But I'll give Booger one game where he wasn't good. Okay, that's against the Cardinals. Had 192 yards, no touchdowns, interceptions, a 58 quarterback rating. The other 2 starts, granted, were against the Texans, 249 yards, 2 TDs and interceptions, a 116 quarterback rating. Against the Seahawks, 157 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions, a 117 quarterback rating. I'm sorry. You didn't see enough for him to be a good quarterback. You didn't see enough. What else he got to show you? By the way, one of those games was with half a Deebo Samuel. He went out in one of those games against the Seahawks. So, and they won.
Right.
Dude, a Booger? What do you want to see, dog? I don't understand.
And like, my thing, while I say you can't determine if a quarterback is going to be bad off of their first year, I think you can determine how good a quarterback will end up or could be if he's going toe-to-toe and being competitive against playoff level teams. Like, yeah, the Cardinals game was rough. The Cardinals are a playoff team. Like, he's not supposed to go and light it up in there. If he does, he's going to be one of the best all time in his first couple starts. Like,
exactly.
I don't know.
Booger, I think, fell into a lot of trap that casuals fall into, where, like, if he didn't play outstanding, then, you know, he's not great. He's not great yet. What's like, is there no room for improvement anymore? Is there no room to get better? You showed me that you can do it as a rookie. That's all I need to see. We can work on getting better. Can you do it? Trey Lance absolutely showed that he can do it. Better than the number 2 overall pick, I'll tell you that.
Right.
Better than number 2. All right, last one. Marcus Spears, Swagoo, came on and started talking about the NBA. It's interesting when Swagoo gets the bravado to start talking about the league, but I like it because he's talking about Devin Booker and my Suns. This is about how Devin Booker is viewed across the league. A lot of what Devin Booker does either goes unnoticed or doesn't get respect it deserves for whatever reason, and in which I have not been able to figure out. Jake, is he speaking facts? Does D-Book go unnoticed or unappreciated around the league?
Just point of clarification. This is Mark J. Spears, who writes for... He's the NBA senior writer for Undefeated. But I don't think... I respect Mark. I interviewed him back when we did the McDonough's NBA pod.
Honestly, that you want to talk about bad podcasting. I don't want to cite the wrong source. It puts a whole different context into this quote, to be honest, that it came from Mark Spears. I actually probably should have read it differently. But yeah, it's a different connotation, much different.
Right, and it holds a little bit more weight. And it's a little surprising to me that he would say this because, you know, maybe the accolades haven't came, and last year you could make the case that Devin Booker should have been receiving flowers for what he did. But in the scheme of Phoenix's, like, team, you have Ayton, who's a former number 1 overall pick, and Chris Paul, who is like the, you know, point guard, one of the best point guards of all time. So I think naturally Devin Booker doesn't get maybe as much shine as if he was in like a Jokic situation, a Luka situation. He'd be getting more shine. But I say all this to say, but that all that's going to come. Like the first teams are coming. Like the all NBA first teams are coming. The NBA championships, the praise is coming. It's just a little too soon. Like I don't know like where he wants us to rank. I rank him among like the Jason Tatums of the league.
The top under 25. Yeah, he's there.
You're not
He's right at the top.
superstar, but you are as close to a superstar as you can get without being one, in my opinion.
And that's where I'm gonna have to side with Mark Spears a little bit, because when you talk about Jason Tatum, when you talk about Cat, you talk about him at a superstar level, and I feel like Devin Booker is right there. Like Trae Young, Luka, Jason Tatum, they're all in that conversation, or he's in that conversation, but they're in the tier above him. And Mark Spears is trying to wonder why, and I think I know why. Is because Devin Booker without DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, and company was dropping 70 points. You know, in his second year in the league, he put up 70 against the Celtics. He'd do that every now and then, and the Suns were still one of the 3 to 5 worst teams in the league. And since they've gotten better, Devin Booker has kept up that production, but it's been other people and other reasons why they're the number one seed going to the finals. You named them. Chris Paul coming in as one of the best floor generals, point guards of all time.
Ever.
DeAndre Ayton absolutely blossoming into what we thought he was going to be as the number one overall pick. Mikal Bridges is now, top 3 in defensive player of the year voting. Shout out to Nova. But he's getting that recognition now. And I think that's why Devin Booker doesn't get those singular accolades or singular recognition, is because we know he can score the ball with amongst the best of them. And we watch him do that. And when he does, we give him credit for that. But why the Suns as a team are getting better, to me, is not because Devin Booker. Now, he's kept up his level of play to allow them to do that. But the other additions of the puzzle piece of what we need from a team aspect, not just scoring, but I need someone who's going to assist the ball, someone who's going to rebound the ball, someone who's going to defend the ball. That's everything Devin Booker doesn't do. They brought guys in there to do that, and now the Suns are better. That's why I think Devin Booker is not getting those accolades, because he's not the reason the Suns have ascended. He's probably the best scorer, second best player on the team, but his scoring is not the reason the Suns have ascended.
And a lot of, when we talk about the tiers, and you have tier number 1, which has, LeBron, Embiid, Jokic, KD, Giannis. Those are your, highest. Curry, if you want to add in Curry as well. But what all those guys, or at least 80% of those guys can do, is not only can they put it in at a high level, rebound, distribute at a high level, they can stop the other team's best player from doing that. Yeah. Not all of them, but a lot of the players who do receive that high level praise can do that. And I think that's probably the one area in Booker's game that's a little lagging right now compared to the other areas, which there's only so much you can do at a certain point. Some people are more athletic than others. It's what makes sport so variable. So I think they're coming, though. They are coming. Yeah, the awards and accolades are coming.
They're coming. But it's like when you talk about all those other players, even the top under 25, they are all the reason that their team is, at the top. Luka is the reason.
Right. No,
Jason Tatum is the reason. Trae Young, etc., is the reason. Chris Paul is the reason that the Suns are at the top. And over the 6 to 8 week stretch, we'll see how valuable Devin Booker is. We will see, because Devin Booker was stinking in the beginning of the season. The Suns were still number 1 in the conference, not because of Devin Booker. So we'll see with this Chris Paul injury if Devin Booker can command that respect by saying, hey, man, this guy went out for all of the home stretch, and we're still number 1 and number 2 in the conference. That's because of me. Give me my accolades. Give me my third team All-NBA. Et cetera, et cetera. But those were all the quotes that we saw over the last 2 to 3 weeks in the NBA. Man, it was a good one. NBA, I guess, all around the sports league. So had to see about them. Had to see if people were speaking facts. But this we're getting ready for, like I said, the home stretch of the NBA season. We both in our teams have something very much to look forward to. You got an addition, I got a subtraction. So we'll see how our teams fare. But as always, y'all, keep it locked to the Straight Facts YouTube channel. We got a lot of content flowing. As always, like and subscribe to see more. But for my guys, Kyle Surrick and Statman Robinson out there in the world, I'm James Jackson. It's my guy, Jake Galley. These have been the facts.
Straight up.